Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the Mario Cristobal Show. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr. The coach will be with us momentarily. This week, the Hurricanes are going west to Cal Berkeley to take on the Golden Bears, a 10:30 Eastern kickoff, Don Bailey. Will you be awake for that?
It's a little past my bedtime, Joe. Yeah, I'll be awake. I'm going by California time, so it's a 7:30 kick out there. I'll be ready and ready to go.
Everybody better be on alert. This is a pretty good Cal team. They're a couple of plays away from being undefeated.
Just because we're not familiar with them and they're new to the ACC, to point, they are probably the best team Miami has played as an entire unit.
They have a local quarterback, Fernando Mendoza from Columbus. He joins other famous Columbus quarterbacks like Brian Greasy and Mike Shula.
Well, he's coming off a big game against Florida State 2 weeks ago. They were off last week. He threw for over 300 yards in Tallahassee at Doak Campbell and had one heck of a day.
Hurricanes go to California, though, with a whole bunch of momentum after last week's win against Virginia Tech.
They do, Joe, and the big part about it is that Miami learned from the game that they played against Virginia Tech. There were a lot of coaching points that Coach Cristobal and his staff could force down this team and let them understand what they need to do better.
Well, it all came down to one final roll of the dice for the whole shebang. Let's hope it doesn't go that way this week. Miami and Cal, we'll come back and talk with Hurricanes head coach Mario Cristobal right after this. Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the Mario Cristobal Show. Joe Zagacki alongside Don Bailey Jr. and, of course, University of Miami head coach Mario Cristobal. And this week, the Hurricanes are on the road for Hurricanes After Dark, late night football, whatever you want to call it. 10:30 p.m. kickoff from California, from Berkeley, California. At any rate, Canes are coming off a gigantic win against Virginia Tech, moved to 5-0, and coach, oh man, a lot to chew over from that game. I don't even know where to start, but somehow, some way, you found a way to win that one.
And at the end of the day, all that matters is how it ended. And it ended with a W for the University of Miami. And like we mentioned earlier, proud of our resiliency and even more proud of our humility in approaching the film and assessing what we have to get better at.
Coach, I've been around here a long time, fortunately for that, and you have as well been around football your whole life. And I would tell you that without a doubt, I think I saw the greatest effort play I might have ever seen is when Elijah Arroyo made a tackle on an interception. And I think he started at the -3 and made a play on the opposite 16-yard line. And I don't know how you angle yards, but it was a ton of yards. And he walked it down and made a decision when it happened to make the play.
It's the best effort play I think I've ever seen. And going with that, it was probably the most impactful play of the game as well, because instead of them getting 7 points or settling for 3, we end up stopping them and then stuffing out the fake field goal. And it was just insane effort. I mean, that guy, he got on his giddy up and he just started going. And it was probably the best piece of footage we've ever shown our team over the past couple of years. They absolutely digested the importance and how effective and impactful awesome effort can be.
The sidebar note on him, he's also number one in the ACC in yards per catch, 24.7 yards per catch so far this season. This game, as I mentioned, there are a lot of talking points, but I guess if we zoom forward to the fourth quarter or the second half, you had to have something special happen. So you went 89, 70, and 57 yards. You needed exquisite execution and some great plays, and you got all of it in those 3 drives.
Well, I mean, it's when we play to our standard, we're very effective. We're very productive. We had some lapses in the first half, and I think it was very obvious to everyone in that locker room at halftime is that we are playing against a really good team, and we've got to play to our standard to make sure we come out of this thing 1-0.
Another huge play was the attempted fake field goal that Virginia Tech had. Campbell really blew it up. I don't know that got noticed as much, but Malik Bryant had a big part to do with that, but also he had a heck of a day himself.
He did. And a lot of credit to Anthony Campbell. I mean, the way he blew up the guard, it made that tight end skip over a step. Malik got great penetration, got the tight end on the ground, and we ended up taking the ball and going on the field and scoring. So a huge turning point in the game.
You tried to warn people all week long that Virginia Tech was a very good team. And so on top of their talent, they came in with a bit of a chip on their shoulder. 2-2. They wanted to play with the Hokie pride that they've had in their program, and so they came in and gave a great effort.
Well, the number one thing we put at the top of the board offensively in terms of goals for the week is no turnovers. Cannot turn the ball over. And we did that 3 times. We did it to start the game off. And that changes everything. And we're very fortunate, and we're fortunate that we have that type of resiliency where no matter what happened, we just kept playing. And that's been the key to our season. We just keep playing. It's a 4-quarter game. You can turn it as long as you keep playing. But we certainly create our own issues, and those are things that going forward cannot happen if we want to attain the goals that we've set out for ourselves.
But Coach, as you mentioned, a lot of the issues were self-inflicted, but the University of Miami did not buckle. I mean, this football team gave you a legitimate full 60 minutes, and it took full 60 minutes. That's a big accomplishment over what's happened here in the past.
Yeah, well, you got to recognize the fact that you're playing against a very storied program in Virginia Tech, and that team's not going to tap. They're just not. The tap happens when the clock says 0-0-0. Mm-hmm. Some teams have tap buttons, others don't. That team doesn't have a tap button. So you're going to have to go with your very best all the way to the end. And that's what our team did and found a way.
Let's talk about Isaiah Horton for a moment. He has the game-winning catch, and he has 36 catches this season, 36 career, 22 this year. But then he goes in and plays defense for you. And he's heavily involved in the last play of the game. And kind of like a basketball player, he not only does he leap, but he's just trying to rake that ball away. He doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, he's a tremendous athlete, a guy that we've mentioned a lot, especially as of late, because of his commitment to development, has turned into great production. I mean, he's like on that kind of a trajectory right now. And the fact that he went down there, that's his first real live rep at doing that. We've repped it, we've practiced it, but you can never simulate what that really feels like and what it looks like. So great job by him and the rest of the defense.
Wesley Bassett, 6 tackles, but all over the place. And you've been talking, you and I talked in the preseason about how you expect him to grow, and he's on a growth spurt.
He really is. That second down play he made to force third down right before we got the ball back on the winning drive is a great example of elite linebacker play. When he takes on the tackle, gets hands on him, knocks him back, sheds the blocker, and makes a tackle for no gain. That led to a longer third down play that eventually got us the ball back. So, but Wesley's been showing that all year. He's taken another step in his development and his level of play. And again, he's just getting started.
Can you take us through the last play, the last sequence? You're set up in your Hail Mary defense. You kind of throw them into a spot where they have to throw the Hail Mary, or maybe almost could bait them into trying to run for it. But you had all the guys out there in the right spot.
In the right spot, you're rushing through, and you got a spy. The back leaks out, and he's part of their display design as well. So the linebackers got to take the back. And then the guys underneath are playing man, and we got 3 deep so that the safety can lean to whatever side the ball is going to be thrown to. And so that's the way we chose to play that, and found a way to get it done.
Coach, the ability to overcome double-digit deficits multiple times in that game, what does that tell you about you're preparing this football team week in and week out?
Well, I want to give credit to the players. I mean, we pushed them hard. I mean, this is a program where, you come here because you want to be a part of a team that's on the rise, a team that's going to settle for nothing except, elite levels of play on the field and elite performances off the field. And so we push them hard, and it's not for everybody. So to see them have their work validated this past month has been awesome, because it should only inspire you to just work harder and do more, and it should also wake you up and let you understand that, hey, brother, yeah, we got to win, but we can be better, and we need to be better. And the teams that really focus on that focus on getting better, are the teams that are going to be there at the end of November and early December.
There are so many plays, 2 others that jump out, make it kind of bunch it together here. Restrepo makes the catch on the ground. That's a great effort. And then Cam Ward turns into Houdini. But Riley Williams is pretty alert and perceptive as well to be in the right spot and take the ball and go.
Well, the perfect example of redeeming yourself, because on that play, he's in protection, him and Francis, and we get beat. We get beat in protection, but they both stay alive, and Cam's able to sling the defensive end off of himself, and Riley gets up off the ground and stays alive. And Cam's always going to try to keep plays alive and extend them. He gets it to Riley. Great job with the stiff arm. Actually almost threw like a fake stiff arm to the air, thinking the guy was right behind him. And what's really important too, that gets lost, a lot of guys would probably reach the ball out to score. Unless it's the last play of the game, you don't do that. He did, and he did exactly what he's supposed to. He secured the ball. He got as much as he could. He tried to get in the end zone, but secured the football. Because so many times you see that ball extended, knocked out, and it goes the other way. So really proud of his effort.
Andy Beauregales, a 56-yard, I believe, 56. And I think now he has the guts to lobby you for a 65 after seeing that kick.
And maybe more.
And maybe more.
Yeah, just phenomenal. Great job by CJ and the kickoff return team to recognize the squib, because it changes their sets and it changes their angles. And instantaneously when the ball was squibbed, they turned, planted, and got leverage on their defenders. And it gave CJ a crease, and he almost housed it. He almost housed it, but it got us close enough to throw a couple plays in there. Got the pass interference and got us within range. Want to get a little bit closer, but with 5 seconds left, you're running the risk of trying to get a quick play and still getting the clock stopped. So we went with Andy and got it done.
You had to call on. It was like on defense, all hands on deck, right? Mm-hmm. Because there were live injuries, a lot of plays. Long games, sweltering night, guys are going in and out. So this was a game that was defensively, a lot of different guys contributed. Even Markeith Williams had to play most of the second half at safety.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys banged up. Jalen Alderman wasn't available for the game at linebacker. Jaden Harris went down. We had multiple defensive linemen go down as well. And I mean, it is what it is. You can boo-hoo about it or get the next guy up in there and go get it done. That's why we practice, and it's why we practice the way we do.
Well, one guy that gave you all hands on deck was Michael Irvin. And what was it like having a playmaker on the sideline? And he came in the locker room. I thought he needed an IV.
He needed shoulder pads and a helmet is what he needed in a playbook. When Michael Irvin gave one of the most impactful talks to our team, maybe the most impactful talk to our teams, him, Ray Lewis, Andre Johnson, Devin Hester, John Vilma, these guys have all taken time out of their crazy schedules to come and address the team. And these things hit home. They're such a huge part of everything Miami. And to have him there, it's, come on, man, that's one of the big reasons why we came here was, it was the only real deal brotherhood in the country. So it's really cool to get that generating, some more juice again, some hands-on, just eye-to-eye, face-to-face actual contact, and it was awesome having them there.
All right, thank you, Coach. Time now for our high-performance moment, presented by Kia. And boy, what a moment this is. 4th down and 3, game on the line, and Restrepo Don somehow makes the catch.
He does, Joe, and what's nice is the quarterback, Cam Ward, anticipates where Restrepo's going to be. Restrepo running a great route, pressure's coming against Ward. He loses his footing, keeps his eye on the football, but it's almost a sixth sense that Ward has on where to place it, and he placed it in the right spot.
Absolutely incredible play. Xavier Restrepo, our high-performance moment, presented by Kia. This week, the Hurricanes go to Berkeley, California to take on the Golden Bears of Cal. They are 3-1. This will be the 5th meeting between Miami and Cal. The last time they met in Berkeley was a long time ago, 1990. Last time the two teams played was in a bowl game, the Emerald Bowl, in 2008. Game day is going to be there, so that sends my antenna on alert. And I'm sure your antenna is tingling as well on high alert when ESPN ships game day out there and all that stuff.
Well, I think it's a credit to their program, a credit to our program to attract that kind of attention. It's certainly an honor, but there's not a single person on a broadcasting crew or anyone sitting in the stand that's going to make a play for either team, right? It's going to be about practice and preparation and then going out and making that game day reality. So the focus has to stay on the main thing. We're looking forward to an unbelievable opportunity.
Coach, their quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, coming off a 300-yard game against Florida State 2 weeks ago. They had an off week last week, but you know him, the family's a local kid, but they're very impressive offensively, but I was watching some of their defense. They're even more impressively in my mind on the defensive side.
Yeah, their quarterback. I mean, his father and I were teammates in high school, so awesome family, elite football player. I mean, really doing a great job running that offense, extending plays. I mean, he's hitting just about every ball you want a quarterback to hit, the back shoulder, your shots down the field, making plays on the run. Excellent decision maker. He's got a really good offensive line. Elite running back, preseason all ACC running back. His wide receivers are really explosive, really fast, really well coached. Their defense leads the country in interceptions. They lead the ACC in turnover margin. I think they're number 3 nationally, but these guys, they get after the quarterback with a variety of different pressures, and they hawk the ball down. I mean, I believe it's 10 interceptions and close to having another couple interceptions, and really should be an undefeated team right now, minus a couple field goal misses.
I was going to pick up on that. They were number 1 in the country last year in takeaways. Took the ball away 27 times, and they're on that pace this year. Already 11 takeaways and 10 interceptions that you mentioned. Bill Parcells used to say, "You are what you emphasize." That must be something in their program, right, where they're trying to find an edge that they emphasize taking the ball away.
Physical and discipline is what they are. They don't get fooled. They don't get faked out. They're very they know their scheme inside out, and they're very technically and fundamentally sound. And when you combine that with high-level talent, you have great performance on defense, and they've done that at a high level. I think the difference this year is that their offense is also performing at a really high level. And having coached out there at Oregon for 4 or 5 years, Cal was always the team that was the most challenging in several aspects, and it was due to not only the caliber of player they had, but their scheme and the caliber of coaching they received. Coach Wilcox and company have always done a great job preparing those guys.
Coach, the importance that you just keep building depth. I mean, there was opportunities because players coming out last week, but it's something that you set in motion when you got here, is you were going to develop depth, and you challenge your staff and this team every single day about getting the guys in, and let's find out where they are.
Well, just like players can never be comfortable, coaches can't be comfortable. Sometimes it's great to, look at our guys who are doing so well. Well, what if that guy gets banged up? What if 2 or 3 get banged up? So then what's the answer? Well, the answer has got to be you develop the guy that's right beside him, right behind him, to come in there and perform at the same level or better, or if there's a drop-off, it can't be much. So I think the entire organization has taken that approach in terms of development and growth, and we're seeing some of the benefits of that.
Also, to pick up what you said about Coach Wilcox, they've won, you go back to last year, they've won 6 of their last 8 games. They had a pretty good winning streak in there. The wins that included a win at Auburn and wins last year, 3 straight wins to finish the Pac-12 season. And the kid Ott, the running back, kind of takes their offense to a different level, right?
Yeah, they went in Auburn and had a dominant performance. And I think that caught the entire country's attention. And obviously we go week by week in terms of our opponents. But as soon as our game was over on Friday, we turned our attention to them and got to get in a real depth. And I mean, going all the way back to the games where we used to play them when I was coaching out west. I mean, it was that program continues to have high levels of performance on defense, but now it has taken a massive step offensively, and that's why they're playing such good football.
I think what happens is fans and spectators overlook the fact that it's Cal or Miami's going out. They've got the same amount of scholarships. They recruit a great state in California, and that's a program that has produced NFL talent over the year. You're walking into a playoff game, and that's what a conference game is a playoff game.
Well, if you look at rankings alone, this is the best defense that we have faced so far. If you look at teams all together, it's arguably the best team that we've played so far as well. And these guys, when I was out on the West Coast, sometimes the West Coast, you don't get the same viewership from people on the East Coast. But if you look at our team, let's go, by position. Our quarterback was a quarterback out there at Washington State, right? Our running back, right, was at Oregon State, Pac-12 as well. Our starting safety, right, was out there at the University of Washington. So there's great football, right, all over the country, and I'm very familiar with that part of the country due to, past years' experience. So we know exactly, the caliber of football team we're facing, and we're really, really excited for this opportunity.
Coach, also interesting to note that their linebackers rock solid. Buchanan, number 3 in the ACC, 10 tackles a game, but Ulawale was the Pac-12 Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, much like Bain was here, and he's averaging 8 tackles a game.
Well, you're looking at guys that are in the 235, 240 range, like a flat-out run, are really explosive, hard-hitting, physical guys they're very flexible, they're very athletic. They can cover just as much as they can get downhill and splatter the run game. So very impressive on film so far. Those guys are going to present a tremendous challenge for us.
But you talk about Andy Borregales, but let's talk Dylan Joyce. We hope that he doesn't come on the field very often, but when he has come on this year as the punter, he's done an outstanding job.
Yeah, he doesn't get to showcase his talents as much, and that's a good thing.
Right.
And that's okay with us if he doesn't get to showcase in the rest of the season. That's always a good sign. But when he does, he's a weapon. He could flip the field for you. He could pin people deep. He's very versatile. He could punt it right, left, on the run still. I mean, he does a lot, and we're certainly blessed to have him.
Yeah, special teams would be big. I want to get to your quarterback in a minute, but just the sidebar, their kicker has 47 games under his belt, but he's kicked for Delaware, North Carolina, Cincinnati, and at the FCS level. I don't think he's ever going to leave. He's made 53 field goals. Earlier, you were talking about the guys on your team from the West Coast. Cam Ward did throw for 354 against Cal last year. Damian Martinez ran for almost 100 yards against them a year ago. Does that help at all that they have experience playing against them?
I mean, there's some things you always pick up, and you go back to watch film. There's such a history there, teams playing each other, that they're going to watch some of our film from years past, different places, and we're going to watch some of the games that we played against them as well. So there's value in everything, especially when a team, they have a week off, we have an extra day. So I know both sides will dig very, very deep.
Coach, this freshman class has done a very good job of participating, and Dylan Day I watched him on kickoff coverage, and there's a big list to go down, but let's just focus on him. I mean, he has just turned into a coverage maniac and doing a great job.
He really has. I'm really proud of him. He is an excellent football player, and he is just growing and getting better and developing. He's had a massive impact on special teams. He's joined by Darius Hayes, who's done a great job on special teams. Bobby Pruitt done a great job on special teams. Bobby Washington,
right?
Man, he's a game changer, for us. All those guys, and there's more. There's more in there that are doing a bunch of really, really good things. Our special teams is continuing to improve, and I think they're taking a lot of pride in that.
I did want to mention before we go, it was a Friday night game, so not always the easiest to get around town here, but it was a heck of a crowd. Once that game got started, the crowd was there. They created a great environment for you.
Yeah, they rock. I mean, when they show up like that and with that type of purpose and intent, you could tell when you came out the tunnel, they were ready to roll. It's the juice that they bring, the energy that they bring, the way they impact the game it's awesome, right? It's what our players love it. They appreciate it and want a whole lot more of it.
Coach, they stayed for 4 quarters. Now they were the 12th man in the fourth quarter for the University of Miami. The crowd made a huge difference.
No doubt, they were loud. They were they were loud. They were loud, and they certainly we appreciate them so much. We love seeing it, love having them, and we want to make them proud.
My bet is some of those recruits love that passion as well.
They do. Right? They do. They know how important Miami football is. Everybody knows. The whole country knows how important Miami Hurricane football is, and it was great to have it on display.
All right, Coach, the very best of luck against Cal.
Appreciate you.
All right, that's University of Miami head coach Mario Cristobal. We will continue right after this. When you give it your all to be in peak condition, sometimes you get hurt. From meniscus or rotator cuff tears to muscle strains and other common sports injuries, the experts at the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute, part of UHealth University of Miami Health System, are committed to getting you back to your best safely, effectively, and as quickly as possible. Recover your game with the same team that cares for your Miami Hurricanes. Schedule an appointment today at ulsports.com. Happy to welcome you back to the Mario Cristobal Show. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr. Hurricanes going to Cal Berkeley to take on the Golden Bears. 10:30 kickoff on Saturday night. Last time Canes were out there was 1990. Miami put 50 points on the board.
Let's hope it happens again. 50 points is a whole bunch to put on everybody. Miami's done it a few times this year. I think one thing that's going under the radar against Cal is the fact that they have a great defense and they are the best in the conference at taking the football away.
Yeah, they take the ball away a lot, 10 interceptions. But Cam Ward has gone over 300 yards in every single game for the University of Miami.
I think that will happen, but I'm sure the conversation has been this week, let's run the football too. You want to play complementary football. Miami had good numbers in the running game, most of them in the second half last week, but it's a big part of the offense.
I mentioned with the coach, Damian Martinez, last year, almost 100 yards against Cal.
Yeah, that's important to know. They understand that side of the coast. They understand as far as how to play in those type stadiums, and that helps.
Okay, going to be a big one out in California. We are looking forward to that one. Miami and Cal on Saturday at 10:30. For head coach Mario Cristobal and Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Mario Cristobal Show.